Hello everyone. All right, this is going to be another one of those videos where I just kind of share a little bit of what I learned. So I want to show you some puddles that I had been working on. And I love doing puddles. I think they're a lot of fun. I think that they can make some really nice looking jewelry pieces. And I did a series or a whole set of rainbow puddles that many of them came out, not every one of them, but many of them came out with some Devitt on them. And I just wasn't happy with that look, obviously. And so rather than try to hand take care of each one, because I really don't have a lot of cold working equipment. I've got some, some diamond pads, some hand pads, and I've got some, well, really that's about it when you try to think about how you would cold work something like that. I mean, I do have a grinder and some other stuff, but you can't do that that way. I know you can use etching cream to get rid of that and then refire, but that's kind of a mess, and who knows what's in that stuff, so I don't fully trust it. But it was recommended to try a rock tumbler, and so that's what I did. I found somebody on Facebook Marketplace who had a relatively cheap rock tumbler near me, and it's not one of those toy brands. It's a legit rock tumbler company, although I can't remember the name. And they had some silicon carbide grit that they were selling with it, and so I bought it off of Facebook, and I decided to try to do some rock tumbling. What happened was what I thought was a really cool effect, and so I put the whole batch in, and they all came out with this matte look to them. Let's see if you can see that well. So it's a very soft finish, and obviously it took care of the Devitt issues. I suppose that's how you pronounce that, devitrification, so Devitt? I'm going to call it Devitt. Anyway, so it took care of that, and I assumed that I would go back to fire polish these to bring them back to a glossy look, but then I kind of fell in love with the way they came out. So I've got a show coming up that I'm going to try to sell them both in this way, and then I did go back and fire polish, so I just wanted to show you the finished results and kind of a little bit of a side-by-side. These are the ones that were fire polished. You can kind of see the glossy effect, and then these are the ones that are matte. And I'm going to try to sell them both and just kind of use this as an opportunity to see which one there was more demand for. The fire polish, I can post the schedule that I used. It turned out very nice. It fixed all the issues that I had with them before. These are very nice finished product. I'm pretty pleased with that. But I did want to show a few others that I had done as well. So because I had some other puddles lying around, I decided to just experiment and see what kind of looks I could get with some others. So I'll show you, this is a batch of puddles that I made a couple of weeks ago. And here again, these are the original ones that were fired and came right out of the kiln. I don't know if you can see these very well. So those are fired and glossy. These are the ones that were tumbled in rock. It just gives it a softer, almost more pastel look when you compare the greens, because this is really the same green streak within there, and it really does kind of change the look. Can you see those okay? So that's one example of the difference. Here too, again, these are some glossy puddles that came right out of the kiln a couple of weeks ago. These are from the exact same batch, but I went ahead and tumbled them. Same thing, you get a much more kind of pastel look that comes from them. And the thing is, I kind of like them both, so I'm going to let the customer decide. We'll just see how they sell. Honestly, if these don't sell very well, then, I've learned a lesson, and it probably wasn't a huge investment. Now, these I'm pretty pleased with. I kind of like this. This is an orange and white and brown, kind of get this southwestern flair. In fact, let me pick these two because they're almost identical, and you can really see the difference. Again, this was the original batch. They came out of the kiln very nice and shiny, and I decided to then try to tumble a few of those to see what they turned out like, and I actually really do like that look. I'll show a few more of these. I don't know if you can see those well, but I'm pretty pleased with the way those turned out. And so if I had a guess, I'm wondering if those matte finish ones might sell a little bit better. Here's an example where I didn't like the outcome as much. These were some puddles that I had fired, And I kind of don't care for the way that blue came out. It's just very, I don't know. I mean, this is a bright, vibrant, beautiful navy blue, deep blue. And after they were tumbled, you really kind of lose the effect of that blue. Arguably, you kind of lose the effect of the orange too, which I think is okay in the Southwest look, but you kind of don't get the same effect here. So here's the great thing about it. I haven't glued any bails on these yet. If I decided I don't like these, frankly, I'll just put them back in and fire polish them, and I'll bring them back to their original form, and no harm, no foul. And then finally, just out of curiosity, I had a couple of dichro pieces, and I thought, boy, I wonder what that would look like. Well, the answer is it looks like crap. So I will be putting that dichro back in. You know, this is really just a clear cap over the dichro. I'm going to put it back in and refire it and bring it back to the original state, so that'll get a fire polish on it. But again, I've learned a lesson, or I learned what I think you know, preferences might be. I can't imagine anybody buying that one. You totally lose the impact of the dichro when you do that. So I'll be bringing that back to its normal state. So that's it. I just wanted to share with you kind of what the effect can be when you do rock tumbling. In terms of grit, truly, I just used what this guy had in the box. So this says fine grit. I don't even know what the company is, but it's and it doesn't really give a measurement that I know of, stock number. But I'll maybe play around with some different types of grit when I go to order some new. But, you know, for the purposes of what I was trying to do and really just experiment, this worked fine. There's plenty left, so if I want to do this again, I'll use that in the future. But there you go. That's the outcome of rock tumbling to remove the Devitt issues, what it looks like when you refire them back to glossy state by using a nice fire polish schedule. Again, I'll post that in the comments. And then I just thought you'd appreciate seeing a little bit of before and after look on some of these other ones as well. Color, I think, does really make a difference. So there you go. Thank you very much.